What is up, babes? It is Friday and it's raining, and I need a haircut. But more importantly, it's break week. It's a break week, and I've been wanting to make this specific video since basically I saw Loki's first feat. Since I saw him kind of start to rustle around, take some hits, and yeah. I mean, I think the last video I made during a break week was talking about the levels of One Piece, and how like Yonko was kind of at the top. We had Admiral. There was like a nice little mini section in between there. But the big factor here is that we're moving on. We're moving past it, and I think the God Knights are going to help us get there. But I think Loki is almost going to staple that in on what is strength in One Piece. What is the benchmark? Because even now, I think Kaido is the single character benchmark. He just is. I don't think that we see anybody with that kind of crazy speed. I mean, even when we see Kizaru in action, I think Luffy is able to take that in stride after fighting Kaido. Kaido was doing insane stuff. Lightning was involved in terms of speed, damage, size, AoE, all of it. If you don't know what AoE is, it's like a range of attacks. What does that even stand for? Area of AoE? Area of anyway, widespread attack. And the reason that I think Loki's above is a couple different reasons. One, this man has been sitting on the couch for, what was it, 6, 7, almost a decade, like a little over half a decade, that he's just been sitting chained up. Once they go through the castle, they talk about how there was only one survivor. Now, I think this was Loki's like great escape from the island, or at least destroying everybody on the island. So he has everybody on the island in check. We have to assume that he has Ragnar's hammer during that, but he beats up everybody. They said that there were 100 giants that stood up to him. I've mentioned it before. Those are the strongest giants, warrior race that this island has, that they have. In terms of the old pirates, I don't think that maybe they were around. I mean, definitely Bragi and Dory weren't. But King Harold seems like that dude, and he was kind of put in his place. He was put in his place by his own son, who is gigantic, who is absolutely humongous. If we compare every other giant to Harujan, and then we see where Loki sizes up, it's not even fair. He's part of that ancient race that Harold was trying to get rid of, but Loki is fighting pretty hard for them to stay in action. But him defeating, killing, just demolishing all of them, the only reason Jarul is alive is he might have been hiding in the back. He might have not even wanted any of that smoke because he just didn't have it in him. He just didn't have it in him at all. The only real comparison that we have there is like Big Mom as a kid, who was kind of the giants were no match for her, just because she was a freak. But I'll just let that be. But I will say that giants are not only the strongest race, but they're insanely durable, which leads to my next point. So after he beat up all those guys, sat on his ass for 6, 7 years, the leader of the God Knights comes through, throws out an attack that I have to think is solid one for him. Nothing crazy, but a solid one for him. Of course, Shamrock was claiming that it wouldn't matter if he was tied down, and I think that he's going to come to regret those words in 3 years, maybe more. But he did the Cerebrus attack, and then Gunko was absolutely just slapping him around, destroying him. So much so that Luffy and Zoro both thought that this guy might be dead. Zoro played it smart, and we've only seen Loki do one offensive move, but we've seen a ton of durability from him. A ton. We know that Shanks beat him. We know that, and I know you're thinking like, oh, that's Yonko level. I think Shanks is kind of a special case, and the longer time goes on with different stocks rising, including Shanks, it's kind of tough to see exactly what that means. I think Kaido has a good point here. I don't know how good Loki's hockey is, but we just know that he is probably the most talented human being giant race that there is. Character, period. He stands up after taking all this damage, after they thought that he was basically dead, stands up, grabs his hammer that we have to believe has some type of fruit to it, similar to a Thor's hammer type of situation, and strikes the island. Now, he strikes the island once, beat up, off the couch, shackled. beat up, off the couch, which I don't think a lot of people realize, shackled. The off the couch one we can almost let go, but he's been sitting there for like 7 years. He's been sitting there doing nothing. He's that ripped. Maybe he's doing crunches on the side. I'm not sure, but nothing. Not even to mention, I don't know what his eyes are about. I don't know if those are heavily damaged, but he's blind too. Like, he's not seeing shit. He might have observation out the ass, but still. Strikes the island. Looks like it's a very powerful blow. If you look at everyone's reactions, clearly powerful. A lightning strike strikes, and if you see from where he did it, huge, and then it goes through the tree and makes a large fire. Now, I don't think people really understand what this one blow means because of all of his nerfings. Having been beat to shit. I mean, like, screaming so loud that, everybody could hear him. Gunko's whooping him. Hits the island. Lightning blast. Fire. It's so big that I don't think anybody even realizes it. I mean, if I were to, like, truly scale it and we would, like, figure this out, I think it takes out all of Onigashima. All of it. And that's kind of, like, the factor here where I'm like, okay, Kaido is a single unit of a man. And if these two fought, I can't even 100% tell you that Loki would win yet. I think that that'll be proven here sooner rather than later. But if they were to fight right now, it just seems like Kaido's small stature actually benefits him. But at the same time, he's kind of outclassed because when does Kaido fight people bigger than him? Never? Like, what? Even in his dragon form, I would say Loki is around the size of Luffy when he's jumping rope with Kaido. Now, I'm not saying Loki would do that. I'm not saying that. But this man is still shackled. And he has the ability to destroy Onigashima. Is it a leap? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Elbaf is fucking humongous. And that lightning blast looks like it's big enough to destroy Onigashima. And if that's the case, that's a pretty big feat. Just off the couch, nerfed in more ways than one. And that's just with the hammer. When he gets out of there and he shows whatever his potential fruit is, we've never even seen it. We don't even know what that is. The only thing holding him down right now is that Shanks took him out. But Shanks is a special case. I think that was a experience versus talent situation. But Loki is the strongest giant that's ever been and ever will be in all of One Piece, as far as we know. I mean, there's some guys backdated that it's possible that they had some giants' blood in them, that they were giants. Not 100% sure on that. But Loki is the future. Like, he is the new benchmark. And he's going to do all this while nerfed. Do you remember how they couldn't, like, fully let Zoro go at the beginning? Because in the East Blue, he was hurt, like, every single arc. They had to hurt him. Because they were like, if we let you go with what you're actually capable of doing now, it's not any fun for the reader. So we got to nerf you. So they're nerfing Loki right now because there's not enough time for, like, further growth. So then he's just starting there. He's just starting at this new level. Call it Loki level, call it what you will, but that man's going to be a problem. And I don't know if they need to leave him shackled or unshackle him, but if they unshackle him, that could beat the island's ass. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if he's taking out all these giants and he's like a real danger to this island, this is different. This is not island level. I know that we do like island, planet, universe, like those scales, but Elbaf is like its own thing. Like, it's so big. It's so big, and he counters it with his fire lightning, but it's insane. The fact that he already has elemental abilities and we don't even know what his fruit is, it's not going to be good if he becomes an enemy, which I don't think he will, but he's going to be a tough dude to wrestle down. The mural has him propped as a good guy, but I think it's going to take a while to get there. That's all I had. I think Loki is a freak. I would love to see him versus Kaido in a sandbox to see who would actually win. But there's so much more we need to figure out about Loki. But I think you will come to agree some of these lofty ideals will come to fruition, and you'll be like, wait a minute, maybe he could beat Kaido. Kaido's down in a volcano right now, which he will be back. But that's not what this video is about. Loki's stronger than Kaido. Have a good weekend.